From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting by the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show, including Kingdom of Nye Radio and Revolution Radio. If you want to take a listen to our archives, they are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. You need to do a little shopping at the SOR Vault because you would look good in our swag. You can also sign up for the SOR Space Travelers Club. It's $5 a month. Join We Read the Night if you want a great book. You can also catch up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire and much more. Tonight's show is brought to you by CHIVE Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by donating to CHIVE Charities today. You can find them on our website. They say it's all in the cards, but is it really? And is it truly there when it comes to tarot? Natalie Meraki is an artist, author, and a tarot card reader. She has her Reiki 2, or Reiki 2, certification, and has had great success sending and reading remote energy. She receives visual messages from the universe, her higher self, spirit guides, angels, and God. Where do these messages come from ultimately? Well, we're going to find out from Natalie tonight because it's all about her own personal frequency. What's she tuned into? Yeah, Natalie's readings provide people with clarity, a view of a bigger picture, and empowerment. Then in hour number 3, we are going to get into the SOR Newswire, brought to you by Paranoia Magazine. Natalie Meraki, how you doing? Thank you for coming on Spaced Out Radio.
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm very glad that you are here. Thank you for joining us. You know, there's always this big stigma that hangs out around spirituality. People who read cards, tea leaves, Ouija boards, pendulums, you name it, running around with dowsing rods as they're spinning around and hitting you in the eyeballs. It's just the way it goes. Just the way it goes. We're going to get into a lot of that with you tonight. But I want to learn about you. I want our audience to learn about you first and foremost. And that is, how long did you realize, or how long have you been intuitive?
Oh, well, I have been my whole life, which has, caused me some trouble growing up with family that doesn't believe in that sort of thing, and that's okay. But it's been my a real practice of mine for about 6 or 7 years now.
So what made you all of a sudden go from knowing that you were intuitive to start making it your daily practice?
Well, it actually stemmed from just really needing a sense of empowerment. I knew that what was going on in my life was not, I wasn't, sorry, I knew that I needed some empowerment in my life, and so I really started practicing getting in tune with myself. And that was the first thing that I got into was tarot. And tarot is such a beautiful way to really manifest your inner power, which is what it's all about.
Well, that's awesome. That is awesome. So when you started to study this and take this a little bit more seriously, what was the learning curve for you?
Oh, definitely when you're into tarot, there's a lot to learn about the meanings of the cards. A lot of people read kind of half intuitive, like half of memorization of what the cards mean and half intuitively. Sorry, my son has decided to start crying in the background.
Oh,
that's why I'm sort of distracted.
That's okay. That's okay. I have literally been sitting here where my little guy, I thought he was up in bed upstairs, and all of a sudden he comes running into the studio. Hi, Daddy, what's going on? It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. So
yeah,
not a problem.
We're on nights.
Well, you know what? Aliens. We're going to blame aliens.
Yeah, he calls them jokes. He talks about aliens a lot, but he calls them jokes. I don't know why, which is kind of freaky. But yeah, it's tarot. It's just sort of. I started. Oh, is that my son or your son crying?
No, that's not mine. That's not mine.
Hopefully he'll just come in and sit in my lap in a second. But anyway, it's half intuition and half memorization of what these cards mean. There are 78 cards, so there's a lot to memorize. And if you can kind of tune into both sides of it, you can really get a good reading for people.
So when you are tuning in to your own intuition, what do you go through? Is it meditation? Does it come instantaneously, or is it something you've got to build up to?
For me, it is instantaneously. I'm an instant manifester. I just sort of, just things work for me. I don't have to do a lot of ritual before a reading. You know, a lot of people will do quite a bit of ritual before a reading, and say meditation and incense and, you know, things like that. But I just sort of start shuffling the cards and trust that the information will come to me, and it always does. So it's easy, comes easy for me.
Natalie, as you are working with people, you have a lot of responsibility in your hands when you work with someone, because usually when someone comes to see you, there is some sort of emotional distress. They have lost a loved one. They have maybe had a run of bad luck over the years. Their relationships are falling apart. They may be desperate to try and find a job. Whatever it is, people come to people like you because there is a sense of desperation, probably more so that somebody just says, oh, yay, I'm going to go for my yearly reading.
Right.
How do you cater to your clients to make sure that you're giving your best in regards to handling their feelings?
Well, you know, there's not, for me, it comes pretty naturally, so I don't have to watch that too much, but basically just, you know, being empathetic and being kind, and you know, there are times when you get bad information that they might consider bad in the cards, and you kind of just have to explain to them, this at least you have some groundwork now for what's going to be going on, and you know what you can do about it. And then, like I said, the empowerment, you know, so I can say, you know, yeah, this doesn't look so great, but you're empowered to do something about it because you have that information now. And, you know, it's can you hear that?
Yeah, no worries. We're running here.
Okay. So it is hard to, when people come to me with problems, and like you said, they often are really curious about something, and it's nice for me when it's just like, you know, about their employment or something like that, but it's harder when it's about a loved one. I've had people that are just extremely emotional, and that, when they contact me, and that is hard. And I, being an empath, feel that, you know. I had a reading recently where the lady, I mean, just as soon as I pulled her cards and started reading them, I was just like almost in tears before she even started speaking. And then she started crying when she started confirming what I was saying. And it was like, I just wanted to give her a big hug. And usually I do a lot of my readings online. But this one was in person, and I did end up giving her a hug. But, you know, it doesn't end up too often where people are in a really bad situation. Thankfully for me, but it does happen. And you just have to be kind and as helpful as possible. They're coming for answers. So I try to make sure that I have answers for them and not just, the thing is that tarot is very good at telling you what you already know, like a confirmation. There's a lot to do with confirmation readings where you're like, yeah, that's exactly what's going on. You're right. But now what do I do about it? And so that's when you have to really dig in and find the advice in the cards. And then they feel better afterwards and more empowered. Like they have a better understanding of what's to come and what to do about it. So it's very rewarding in that sense.
Well, that's a big one because you have to be able to build trust with your clients almost instantaneously, because it is hard to play with someone's emotions. And that is a tough one for many people out there. And unfortunately, there are a bunch of scammers out there who try to take advantage of people in their most vulnerable state. So how do you relax your clients in order to let them know that they are safe in your hands while you're in their mind? I haven't really had to. People just, when they contact me, they trust me, and I haven't really had to convince anybody, hey, I've got your best interest in mind. It's just, they ask for help and I say, absolutely. What can we do? So it's not, I haven't really had anybody, I haven't had to convince people to have me read for them. It's usually they're ready to hear what the cards have to say by the time they contact me. I got you. So with that being said, when you are working with clients, how do you bring them at ease? Because I'm sure when you bring in a new client, there's a little bit of nervousness. And I don't know about you, but I know a lot of other intuitive people have a real tough time reading people who are nervous.
Oh, I see. No, I trust the cards so completely, and I guess I shouldn't say the cards, because it's not the cards that have the power. It's us that are using the cards and everybody involved in the reading that has the power. But so I just trust that this reading is going to be helpful, and that people are going to hear what they need to hear. And so them being nervous doesn't affect my reading. But it does happen often that they're nervous. And usually within the first two cards that I pull, the situation at hand, and I start saying what's going on, they're like, yeah, that's exactly right. And that breaks down barriers immediately.
Gotcha. I understand. So do you go looking for clients, or are they finding you?
They're finding me. Mostly what I do is I try to come from just a place of authenticity. I post on my social medias what I feel, and like my deck that I have coming out is a sort of it lends itself to memes. They're basically meme cards. And so I post those, and then people say, oh, I really identify with that girl. I'm going to message her up, and then that's how I get a lot of my online readings, is just putting myself out there, myself authentically, and people identify with me, and a lot of people don't. But the people that I get are ones that have identified with me. And so in that sense, there's already a certain sense of comfort. They feel like they can relate to me. And then when I do like events, like I just did a big event where I read for 14 people in 3 hours. That was crazy. Those people, they just come in like, oh, this looks fun. What can we do? And they're not maybe expecting too much or whatever, because they're just gonna, get their free reading because they don't have to pay for it because the event paid for it. And then by the time that I'm done with it, they're like, holy crap. I did not expect that, but this is real,
Reading for 14 people. That's got to be pretty intense.
It is, because you really have to, when you're an empath, you feel everybody's emotions and what's going on with people. And so, and you really have to tune in, and so when you're giving your best for every reading, because I'm used to doing, maybe a couple of readings a day, online at my, when I have a time to do them. And so, yeah, it is definitely intense doing all those readings at once, but it is my favorite. I love it. I come out of it just feeling like I'm high, and it's so good to have, like, this last event started slowly, and then by the end of it, I had a line out the door because people had said, "Oh, this is such a good tarot reader. You have to go in there and see her." And so I ended up having to stay late because it was like word of mouth had gone around,
No, I get you. I hear you on that in regards to the way everything kind of plans out, but you do have to plan your own energy because, let's face it, when you're in a group of that many people, there's got to be some energy vampires there somewhere.
Yeah, I don't really even think about the energy vampires. It doesn't. I feel like I call it my light bubble around me, and I feel safe in my readings. I feel that I can tune into what I need to tune into and not be affected by the negative energy, because that's what I've willed, and I'm in charge, So I don't worry about the energy vampires. I've not had any, but, well, the only time that's hard is when I get people that call me when they're drunk. That
has to be tough.
Yeah, that is a little bit much because they're not listening. They're just in their space of pure emotion. They're not, really listening to the reading. They're just spewing out their emotions, and that is the hardest, but it doesn't happen very often. I have pretty positive experiences with tarot reading. The only thing that stunk at first was I would start feeling people's physical ailments about 30 minutes before a reading and 30 minutes after a reading. So I'd be like, "Oh, like, does your neck hurt?" And they're like, "Yeah, I had this surgery." And I'm like, "Yeah, thanks. That's great." My neck hurts now too.
I don't blame you. I've encountered that before. I really
have you?
Yes, I have. It's amazing how somebody can drain you just by being around them.
Yeah, well, when I'm not doing a reading, like, say, in a social situation, I end up pretty drained quite often. So I don't know why that I'm, like, protected during readings, but not in social situations. But I definitely know what you're talking about, that feeling, and it's like, I think that because my anxiety kicks in and maybe that lowers my defense shield. I don't have a lot of anxiety when I'm doing a reading, but when I am in a social situation, I am sort of on defense. And so that's a different situation where I might get a little more bothered by that kind of, energy vampire, as you say. I mean, that's real. That's legit. There are people that just will suck you dry, and they don't mean to, I don't think. They're in a rough spot where they don't have any control over their emotions and their consciousness, and so they just end up hurting people, you just really have to protect yourself, energetically, and you can do that through visualization. I do all of my witchy work through visualization and energy. It's all about the energy, and if you put out, your set of boundaries for your energy, then that's all you have to do. And it really is about seeing it as done,
Yes.
You just say it's done. This is how it is, and you believe that, and that's how it works.
Are you getting your messages from spirit? Are you getting your messages from a higher deity or power? How are you communicating the messages you get?
Well, I believe that I believe in angels and aliens and all of these things as energies. I believe when people say that they get their messages from spirits, I have, is outside of my tarot reading capabilities, I have visual experiences where I will just sort of see in my mind's eye situations playing out, and I can bring that up to people and they'll say, yes, that's exactly right. And, where does that come from? Well, it's from me. It's from within me. And I think that we're all connected, and that when I say the power comes from within, that's from within each of us individually and together. So it's a combination of their power and my power. And yeah, maybe some spirits might be involved in that, but we're all the same. Does that make sense? Like it's all one, man.
Yeah, but it's still a tough life because you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know what you're going to be communicating. You don't know what those messages are going to be, and they may be so far off what the person wants to hear that you get called a fake, a fraud, whatever it may be. I mean, you can't control what the messages say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't been called a fake or a fraud to my face. I'm sure that people have heard things that they didn't want to hear and talked about me behind my back. I'm sure that that's happened. Yeah, I've definitely had, I get a lot of other tarot readers ask me for readings, and sometimes they'll say, well, that's not what that card means. And I'm like, look, this is a reading inclusive of all of my abilities, not just what the definition of the card is. And so on both sides, you have to trust the situation. Like I go into a reading, I never am nervous going into a reading that I'm going to be wrong, because I trust for one, I'm hardly ever wrong. I've had maybe one situation where somebody was like, no, that's complete bullcrap. And in that case, they may not have really even been totally in tune with the situation themselves and not admitting that it wasn't bullcrap. But, I haven't had anybody ask for a refund or, I haven't ever hurt anybody with a reading. There's been times that, especially I can think of one time specifically where a lady was drunk and she didn't want to hear what I was saying because it
Absolutely.
She wanted to.
Natalie, I'm going to get you to hold on because we're going to go to break here. We're in music, going to commercial. Okay. Natalie Meraki is our guest tonight. We're going to get into intuition and tarot right after this on Spaced Out Radio.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the CHIVE and CHIVE Charities. If you know anything about our website, you'd know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, CHIVE Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Finish off your weekend and kick off your new week with me, Everett Thiemer, right here on Spaced Out Sundays. I'm going to bring you great guests, a little bit of snark, and plenty of information to think about. But don't worry, there's going to be plenty of woo as well. We are going to hit everything in the paranormal and supernatural, including the odd Psychic Sundays. So tune us in on Sunday, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Every night on Spaced Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio, you can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Are you having encounters with the paranormal, supernatural, or ufological that you cannot explain? Look no further than the SOR Sightlines Report, brought to you by the Experiencers Support Association. This is Ryan Stacy, head of the Research Association, TESA. Soon on the Spaced Out Radio website, you'll be able to file your reports and have them researched for you. We are independent and ready to help Spaced Out Radio listeners today.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night. This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between, with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
Looking for something new to push your limits? Look Beyond the Spectrum, a new docuseries featuring some of the best researchers in the world when it comes to everything from UFOs, government cover-ups, and Bigfoot in the forest. Truth seekers like Steve Bassett, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, Richard Dolan, as well as others all chip in to bring their knowledge to you. Beyond the Spectrum can be found on Amazon as well as Tubi TV. Tell us what you think on our Amazon page.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app. Free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Welcome back to the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Hello, Kelsey, if you're listening. How are you? Anyhow, we want to say that if you've missed portions of this show or others, you can always head on over to our YouTube channel. That's where we store our archives for free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. You need some SOR swag? You got it at the SOR Vault. You can also join up on the Space Out Radio Space Travelers Club, $5 a month. Need a new book of the paranormal, strange, or weird? Head on over to We Read the Night. Read up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, Rock Out to Bumblefoot, and so much more. Tonight we are talking spiritualism, intuition, psychic connections, tarot card readings, and we'll even throw in a tea leaf or two just because we can. Natalie Meraki is our guest tonight. Natalie, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. I got the baby quiet.
That's okay. That's okay. He's allowed. You know, he needs his mama. You know, there's no griping here about that. None whatsoever.
Thank you. Very gracious.
I do have to ask, I don't know if you practice this or not, what the hell's with tea leaves? Like, really? You stare into a cup of tea and all of a sudden, and then all of a sudden you are having all the messages of the unanswered world coming through? That's some powerful tea.
Right. What's in this tea? Yeah, I've only had certain sorts of tea do that to me, but no, you know, unless it's like ayahuasca, it's just the same thing as looking into a crystal ball. It's a sort of scrying method. Like people can look into a fire and see things, and it's sort of just like it's just sort of like when you blur your vision a bit to see. It's like when you see faces in wood or whatever, when you're kind of just letting your mind wander. It's just a way to focus. Like, I don't know a ton about tea leaf reading, but it's just the same kind of thing. It's just a way to unfocus your mind on the external world so that you can focus in on the internal. So people get messages. I don't, but have you ever seen the movie Coraline?
No.
Oh, there's a great part in there where these little old ladies are reading the tea leaves in the cup, and one sees a giraffe and another sees something else I don't remember, but it's just sort of it's an interpretation, just like with any sort of divination. So I don't know about the tea leaves. That's pretty funny. I mean, you could read anything. People throw sticks and read the sticks. So
I don't get it. I mean, see, that's where I got a pretty open mind with this stuff, okay? I got more of an open mind than, majority of people who snark the hell out of my show on Twitter each and every night. I got, I don't mind wearing a little tinfoil. I'll say that. I'll go there. Mm-hmm. All right. But some of this sounds completely corny, and I mean that with all due respect. Whether it's tea leaves, okay, like I have a pendulum in my hand right now.
Awesome!
I use a pendulum. Okay, I've tried the dowsing rods. I almost poked my eye out a couple of times with those.
Dangerous.
I have my own tarot cards. I've read those. It's been a while. Maybe we'll trade readings during this show and see.
Oh, do you have an RWS deck, or what do you use?
Oh, I got. Where are they? I got 2 decks here.
Very cool.
they're tucked away on the shelf, so I can't really read them from here because old Davey has bad eyes.
Well, we'll have to get you a mood deck. We'll have to get you one of my decks.
I will accept that. I will accept that. But the point that I'm getting at is I can understand that. But when you get into like some of the stuff of reading bubbles or reading tea leaves or grains of pepper mixed in with salt or whatever you want to do. Oh, I got my pendulum going right now, and I don't know. I was swinging it around and I almost hit myself. Yes, I did that. Not the spirit. but you know, how do you judge what is real and what is not?
Oh, I pretty much believe people when if somebody says they can read tea leaves and they feel like they believe that, I believe them. It's sort of the same thing with like palm reading. Like there are lines in your hand. Like, how is that going to tell your future? But somehow it works. And, if people are doing it and they're giving you accurate readings, then that's that. And it may sound crazy. Tarot is a little easier to understand because there's a system worked out where, they have these meanings and there's a philosophy to it, and there's the archetypes and things like that where you can kind of understand where it's coming from. But you're right, sort of that scrying stuff is like, what are you talking about? But it works for some people. I don't personally I have a crystal ball, which I don't use because it's more for decoration for me because I just don't. Maybe with practice I could learn how to do it, but I don't see anything in it. It's not my thing. So it just depends. I'd say, if you're going to, with any of this, just check out people's reviews and see if people are actually accurate. I have like 40 reviews on my page of people saying that I was right on and accurate. And, if you check out somebody's reviews and they don't have any, or they say that my reading was complete crap and that's like, pretty prevalent in their reviews, then I wouldn't. Oh, no, I said shirt.
Either way, I have to hit the dump button on that one. I have to. Oh, that's one dump button. Everybody's going to start counting now.
Oh, sorry. I thought I could say since I said shirt.
Oh, that's okay. We'll let it go this time. What's the dump button? The dump button is a magical little button that will cut 10 seconds out of the show. So that way, nothing bad gets through.
Oh, okay. Interesting. That's cool.
Yes. And every now and again, it gets a little... how do you say? It gets a little complicated, especially if you have multiple bad words being said, but that's okay.
Sorry, I was trying to be creative.
You were creative. I'm not going to say that you weren't. I'm not going to say that you weren't. But, it happens. It happens. Let's start getting into tarot here for a second.
Okay.
All right. As we look into tarot cards and everything, it seems like everybody and their dog is making their own tarot card set. How do we know that we're just not drawing a bunch of pictures on a bunch of cards, laminating them and saying, okay, go read them?
Mm-hmm. Well, in the case of my cards, it's a little different because I've used the RWS art. I used the line art and colored them myself to avoid copyright issues. I haven't put a lot of the creativity in my cards is in what they're saying on the cards, since they're meme cards. And not in the artwork. But once you start getting people that are creating their own artwork, it can get really weird. Like some cards, you're like, how do I even look at this and know what this means? Where were you going with this? Because like you said, like people will just make a deck and if it's too far off from the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, which is the the system that I prefer. There's the Thoth and the Rider-Waite-Smith. Then if you get too far off and try to get too creative, it can go two ways. People can say, I really identify with this deck and can tune into this, or it can be like, what is this? What am I looking at? And a lot of people in the community, tarot community, will say that you really need to study tarot for a very long time before you go making a deck, and study both systems, and study read all the books, and really like get a 100 or 360 view of what's going on with each card before you attempt to make a deck. So I'd say that it's somewhere in between, just doing your own thing and being authentic and learning, it can be, there are definitely decks that some people say are great and they totally identify with them, and another person will say this is crap. So I don't know.
I wonder where the siren's going.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I live in town.
That's all right. That's all right. So with the deck, what are you trying to build on there? What makes a good deck? If someone goes to a mystical, metaphysical store, or goes to the local bookstore where they usually have tarot cards, or wherever, how do they know which deck to choose for them?
Yeah, well, you really just have to feel, you really have to, like, when I go to the store, I'm not necessarily a collector, but I have about 14 decks. I only use my RWS and my deck, which is basically an RWS. But when I go to look for a deck that I can tune into, you just have to, go through the pictures for sure. Like, don't just go buy a deck. Make sure that, like, some stores will have a book that has pictures of what's in every deck. Some stores will let you open the decks and then reshrink them. Some, like, if you go to Barnes & Noble, you can't do that because they don't have a shrink wrapper there. So you have to go to Instagram and look at the pictures of the deck. On Instagram is the way that we all kind of do it, to check it out before we buy it, especially if you're going to buy online. And just to see if, learn a little bit about the cards, and then see if those cards mean, if you can see that in the cards that you see online, or if you can open the deck and look at them, see if those resonate with you. Sometimes, like, it's very personal, and there are hundreds of tarot decks out there. And like I said, some people will say this is great and some people will say this is crap. So you really have to see what resonates with you personally. And the best way is just to go through and look at the cards any way you can.
Are there certain times where certain types of decks should not come out? So let's say reading yourself. Should you read yourself with a certain deck? If you want to just say, I need something to give me some motivation or some energy for today, are there certain decks out there that you shouldn't read on your own? Break them down, because I'm not too familiar with them.
Okay, well, I don't know. People have their favorites, so a lot of readers won't read for themselves, and it's because it is kind of hard to read for yourself unless you can. If you are going to read for yourself, what you should do is go through each card and write down what you think about what's going on in each space in the spread, each card in each space in the spread, and write that down, and then get a good overall view after you've gone through each one. Because if you try to just look at the cards and read for yourself, a lot of times, and this happens to me, you just get sort of like negative. I don't really read for myself very often, and I'll pull my own cards and then ask my tarot friends, like, what do you guys think? Because I will read the most negative thing out of it for myself, which is, it's really strange. I can't really explain that, but it happens to a lot of people. And as far as like what kind of decks, people say that the Thoth deck is a more negative deck, and people will say that certain decks have some, like, there are more snarky or sassy decks. I see that all the time in the online tarot communities, people saying like, oh, this deck just really, gives me the business. And it's like, I don't think that the decks have personalities for me personally, but I hear that a lot, and you really just have to do some readings with the deck and see how it treats you. I mean, my deck is definitely always going to be giving attitude. It's just an attitude deck. But if there are cards that are more, like there's one called the Star Child deck that's very whimsical and like loving and soft, and those are the kind of decks that I would say would be better for personal readings, for introspection, and because they're just easier on you, like, but if you want, like, if you want a straight up reading that's just going to give you the truth and not sugarcoat anything, then you use something like the RWS that's just pure symbolism and artwork. I hope that answers the question.
How do you read a deck?
What do you mean?
Well, for instance, for somebody who, say, goes and buys their own tarot deck, how do they read it?
Well, there are keywords for each card. That's one thing that people start out with a lot. Once you start reading books and things, then you get a lot of different information on what each card can mean. For instance, the Tower card, I think one of the funniest things is that it can mean that there's cheating going on in a relationship. I mean, how would you know that? Except for that, just over the years, you collect all these different things that it can mean. And then your subconscious will pick up on, what it knows from reading about you have to. If you just went to the store and bought a deck and didn't read anything about the cards, then in that case you would be reading purely intuitively. And the thing is that there's symbolism in the cards. So you could say, there's water in this card, and water is representative of emotions. And so that must be going on in the reading. You can pull from the symbolism, like there's a bird. What do birds represent? There's, what do these things represent? Even if that's just to me, what does that represent to me? Because like you are part of the reading. So there's one way, which is completely intuitively, which is where you're just going off when you look at these cards. What do you feel? What do you think? Because they trigger in you subconsciously these things that you feel about the reading. Or there's where you can be very educated in all of the different meanings possible in the cards, and then there's a little bit of both, which is what I do. Like I've memorized all of the keywords and I've read some books, but for the most part, I just I take that as a base. So I'll look at the cards and think about what they each mean individually, and then I'll look at what they mean together. So, oftentimes if somebody's asking about like a relationship and you start getting like the kings and queens of pentacles or whatever, those are representative of the people in the relationships. And then there are cards that are more just representative of situations that could be going on with those people. So if you see the King of Pentacles and then you see next to it the, 10 of Wands, then you can say that person's really working hard, worked hard for their money. And you have to kind of put together that string of, looking at each card individually and then put them together as a whole. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, are there certain types of cards you would recommend to somebody who has never read before? Should they go straight into a tarot deck that, say, doesn't have a message to go along with the card itself if you can't figure out how to read it from the picture?
If I'm understanding you correctly, are you saying like cards that have the descriptions written on them?
Yes.
There are cards like that. There actually are a lot of cards like that. They have the keywords right there on the card. I had a deck like that when I first started, and it did help me at first. And then as I got into it, I got sort of annoyed with that, like it was getting in the way of my reading. So I actually ended up selling that deck, which I wish I didn't, because it's sort of a collector item now because it was an indie deck. But anyway, there are definitely decks that have the keywords written right on them. And my deck is sort of like that. It has, every card has a sort of relatable story, written like a little comic image that will say sort of basically what the card is saying in one line that's supposed to be sort of funny and relatable. And that makes it easier to read because you can say, oh, okay, I get this card from what it says on it. And I don't have to stare at the symbolism to figure this out. I can just, put together what it means based on what it says on the card. And I think that it is a good way for beginners. It's a good way I call my cards edutainment cards. They're education and entertainment. And it's fun to have that sometimes. If they start getting if it's a good way to start, but if it starts getting in your way, then, you definitely don't want to use them for like a professional reading. But if you're doing it for your friends or for yourself, then that might be something fun to use.
We have less than a minute to go before we go to break here at the top of the hour. Natalie Meraki is our guest tonight. With the tarot cards, if you are new, how deeply should you be using them? Should you be studying them every day? Should you be looking at them and getting a feel to try and bond with the deck? Is that something you need to do?
Yeah, I would at least go, shuffle, do a daily reading maybe, throw out a 3-card spread and just practice reading a 3-card spread. And, just start with something small and at least shuffle your cards every day. And you just sort of build a connection with your deck. That's absolutely accurate. That's what you should do for sure.
Sounds fantastic. I'm going to get you to hold on, Natalie, as we're going to go to break here at the top of the hour. Natalie Meraki is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Author, intuitive, clairvoyant, because I love using that word, clairvoyant. Yeah, absolutely. And she's going to be back. We're going to get more into tarot, the meanings of the cards. How deep can we go? If you have questions, maybe she'll flip a card or two. You got to write them in the chat room in capital letters. We'll see where this goes. In hour 2 of Spaced Out Radio, we'll get to your questions as well.
A little bit of science, a little bit of skepticism. Add a dash of snark and you have the makings of Spaced Out Sundays with me, Everett Thieme. Together we will look into the reality of the paranormal with an open eye and rational thought. Oh, did I mention there'll be plenty of woo as well? Your time spent with Spaced Out Sundays will make the night even better. The chat rooms are open, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
The Call of the Wild is in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is one of the hottest bars and restaurants in the city. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose will rock you like a hurricane all night long. Great food with everything on the menu at $6.95 near the corner of Nelson and Granville. Get your horns up and come rock with us. The Moose Vancouver, the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Are you having encounters with the paranormal, supernatural, or ufological that you cannot explain? Look no further than the SOR Sightlines Report, brought to you by the Experiencers Support Association. This is Ryan Stacy, head of the Research Association, TESA. Soon on the Spaced Out Radio website, you'll be able to file your reports and have them researched for you. We are independent and ready to help Spaced Out Radio listeners today.
Hi, this is Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel where we store all of the SOR show archives for free. And as an added bonus, every 2 weeks I'm posting brand new content on Cryptid Tales, where I will get into some of the spookier legends and folklore from around the world and tell the stories that go with them. Find us at youtube.com/spacedoutradio and check out Cryptid Tales today. Drop a comment and let me know what you want to hear. See you there.
Hi there, this is Geraldine Orozco from San Francisco's Bay Area Meditation. I invite you to join me the first Tuesday of every month with Dave Scott for Spaced Out Radio's The Spiritual You. In this fast-paced world we live in, it's time for you to take some time for you. We'll cover every possible subject from powerful meditation to healing techniques to your own intuition and spirituality. So come join us for The Spiritual You.
At spacedoutradio.com, we have a little bit of everything for you to stay up late. So while you're there, check out our SOR Newswire, where our team brings you stories of the weird and strange to the WTF from around the globe. News on Bigfoot, UFOs, paranormal, Darwinian-type crime tales. It's the stories that the mainstream media usually won't touch. Well, we got them all on the SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night. This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
Hey, Spaced Out Radio fans! It's John Resig, founder of the CHIVE and CHIVE Charities. Our goal is to make the life of veterans, first responders, and those with rare medical conditions 10% happier. We do this by donating one grant item, ranging from dance to therapy programs to prosthetic limbs, to those who need it most. To contribute to Spaced Out Radio's official charity, head over to chivecharities.org and become a donor today.
Hey, this is Canadian Paranormal Investigator Mike Moore. The third Wednesday of every month, I'll be teaming up with Dave Scott to bring you Ghosts of the Great White North. Each month, we will bring on guests from across Canada to discuss their ghostly encounters. Canada is a paranormal hotbed with stories you've never heard, so we're going to bring them to you. So get comfy on your Chesterfield, grab a donut, and join us, eh?
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother Is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother Is Watching.
Come hang out with Spaced Out Radio where we own the night. This is Carl. You can follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, and during the show, use the hashtag Spaced Out Radio to chat with us live. On Instagram, at Dave Scott SOR. On Facebook, give our page a like, Spaced Out Radio Show. SOR archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. Come join us, or I will come join you. See you at your window.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for being with us. Give a shout out to everybody listening in on UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans, KZFX 93.7 FM in Ridgecrest, California, KDUN AM 1030 in Reedsport, Oregon, KDNF AM 1560 in Dangerfield, Texas, and down in Newnan, Georgia, where they filmed The Walking Dead, WQEE 99.1 FM. On the digital side, hi to everyone listening in on Kingdom of Nye Radio and Revolution Radio. Great to have you with us. Remember, you can check out all of our archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Stumpatocracy. Stumpatocracy is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets a password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, has a plethora of features for you. Read up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire to stay up to date. You can always do a little shopping. We got the We Read the Night section. You could get a new book from a great author in the paranormal. You can also get yourself some SOR swag at the Vault. Join up with the SOR Space Travelers Club, $5 a month, or rock out to Bumblefoot. We got a lot of things that we are doing here, so make sure you help us on out and go get yourself something. We are talking tarot tonight. What's in the cards for you? What's in the cards for me? What is in the cards for anybody, and can we trust the message that comes along with it? Joining us tonight is intuitive Natalie Meraki. How you doing, Natalie?
I'm doing great. Having a fun show with you tonight. Thank you for having me on.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Right before the break, we were talking about different types of cards, whether people are beginners or they've been doing it for a while, how to read them. Where does astrology play into all of this?
Well, there are a number of correspondences involved in tarot, and astrology is mainly involved in the major arcana. So there are 22 cards that have numerology and astrology correspondence is involved. So, if, like, for instance, the Emperor is an Aries, and that's me. And I always joke that I tend to embody the reversed Emperor qualities, which are, sort of, they coincide with the astrology of an Aries, which is in the, now, I'm not a huge astrology buff. I don't know a ton about it. Basically, I've only studied it to what it involves in the tarot. But you can get quite a bit out of. So if I pulled the Emperor for somebody, I could say maybe that you are dealing with an Aries, and it's usually correct. So it's definitely involved.
So with the signs of astrology, as we look up into the stars to try and figure out what is going on, what kind of energy do you get off of astrology when it comes to the cards that are pulled? Does it matter what month it is? Does it matter how the stars are aligning?
I'm not really sure I understand your question. I'm sorry.
Well, just in regards to when you're pulling a card, sometimes, how can I rephrase this? Let's say if you're in Mercury retrograde.
Right.
Which is something I 100% do not believe in, but I have friends who do. Okay?
I'm with you. I'm with you.
And they say, I can't pull this card because that card is bad luck if we're in Mercury retrograde and the sun is, grazing off the Saturn's moons and, causing a collision of the beer force up in wherever, whatever it may be. All right. And yes, I'm being a little sarcastic and facetious there. But do the stars, the way they are aligned, or the signs, do they affect how the cards are read?
No, I would say that it, the only thing that I use astrology for in tarot reading is to find out what kind of people we're dealing with, and the meanings that are involved in the different signs that correspond with the cards. That's basically I don't consider astrology other than the correspondences to the cards in my readings at all. And I agree, just because the Mercury retrograde and all of this, I think, is just a sort of a cop out, like I cut my bangs, damn Mercury retrograde, But for some people maybe that are really big into astrology, they might do that more. I'm not really sure about that. I use it mainly to decide what the card is meaning based on what astrology sign it corresponds with, and that's basically it.
Gotcha. What about numerology? Numbers are the pattern of the world. Numbers don't lie.
Yes, that's right. Numerology, I think, is really cool, and people do readings, on numerology readings just like they do astrology readings, and I think they're sort of similar. And they're involved in the tarot cards because you have 1 through 10 of each suit, besides the court cards, which would be the page, the knight, the king, and the queen. But up until then, you have the 1 through 10, and so if you have the 5 of swords, that's going to the 5 is going to factor into that. So you'll think about what the swords represent, and then you'll think about what the number 5 represents. So 5, is sort of, they say that the even numbers are, the sort of easier energy, and the odd numbers are the sort of more turmoil involved, because I don't know. You definitely use numerology in the cards. So like if I have, like I just pulled right now, the 10 of Pentacles, And in my deck, I'm looking at an old man thinking about boobs. He's got a picture of boobs that he's thinking about. But anyway, you can tell from that.
Just so you know, that's about half of our audience right there.
Boobs. Good. Yep. I always say to do a good tarot reading, you got to get your boobs out first.
Okay. I think you might get a lot of clients because of that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, if you get an online reading from me, my boobs are definitely out. You won't see them, but they're there.
Excellent.
That's the first thing. You do, yeah. So, but if you pull a 10 and a 10 of any of the suits, and that's going to represent a sort of completion, right? Because that's what it means in numerology. You pull, like I said, like like a 4. If you pull a 4, that's going to be for stability. 1 is new beginnings. And so it does help to know a little bit of numerology and work that into your card readings.
All right. I got to talk a little bit about numerology here for a little bit because I'm haunted by a number.
Oh, really? What is it?
I am haunted by a number. And my buddy Everett, who hosts Spaced Out Sundays, him and I were talking about it, and this number I see almost every day. Every day for the last 20 years.
Oh my God, do you hear this jerk in my parking lot? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So for 20 years, that is really something. Usually people will go through, and they'll see a number for a while and then they'll see another number for a while. But so you've been seeing the same number for 20 years. 20
years. And that number is 513.
Oh my goodness, how crazy.
Now, here's the weird part about it. I hate the number 13. I have always hated the number 13.
Okay.
All right. But the number 513 first came up when my daughter was born because that was her weight.
Okay.
And she was born 20 and a half years ago, almost 21 years ago. And ever since then, I see the number 513 almost every day. It doesn't matter where it is. It could be, I check the clock just to see if it's time, because I have a daytime job, and it could be that I check the clock and just to see what time it is before getting ready to go home, and it's 5:13.
Wow.
My garbage cans have the number 513 on them.
Wow.
It doesn't matter where I am. I could be thinking of my daughter. Look at the vehicle in front of me. The license plate will have 513 on it.
That is really something. And, a lot of people with the instance of like 1111 or something will say, oh, well, you just notice it more because, you want to. But I mean, that is really coincidental that you just look at the clock and it happens to be that time. I guess it would be subconscious in that case, but you have no control subconsciously over the license plate in front of you and your trash bins. I mean, that number really is stalking you. Have you looked into what that means for you?
Well, that's why I have you on the air.
Ah, yeah. I don't know. I really think that that's something special and interesting, and I really can't explain that, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I just cannot, for the life of me, shake.
Huh?
And that is the complete truth, and it weirds me out. It weirds me out.
Yeah.
About 2 weeks ago, every time I saw 513, I would take a picture and I would show Everett.
Mm-hmm.
And like the one day I just happened to be checking my email, and I have 513 emails in my inbox. Little things like that. And it's not like I'm tracking it. Okay, there's 511, there's 512, there's 513. No. It's all coincidental.
Okay, well, so 513 reduces to the number 9. So the number 9 would be the Hermit in the Major Arcana. So you could kind of look at it that way. What does the Hermit mean? The Hermit is, excuse me, a card about studying and sort of going within and learning about yourself. And I mean, maybe it's that since you had your daughter, you've been far more conscious of your, your personal existence and consciousness. And, maybe that's what kind of triggered that.
Could be. I don't know.
Because that's what kids do, so that makes sense. And, that's just one thing I can think of.
I have no number pattern with my son. No number pattern whatsoever. He was 8 pounds 10 ounces when he was born. I don't see 8'10" anywhere. Mm-hmm. It's only 5'13".
Well, she's your firstborn, right?
Yes.
So maybe it's just sort of, that was a life-changing moment for you.
Obviously.
Yeah, obviously all kids are life-changing, but that, your first one's really going to shake things up for your life.
It still weirds me out.
So the Hermit is your card.
All right. What does it say?
Oh, well, yeah, like I was saying, it's a card about inner realizations and, and going within and learning and being introspective. So, like I said, I think that is a card that and that probably would mean for you. You had your firstborn, and now you really come into as much consciousness as you can to be as good of a parent as you can. And so that's a possibility as to why that really triggered your that to happen for you, to see that number everywhere.
Strange. Very strange. You're somebody who's been using tarot cards for a long time. How do you know what you're reading isn't the same thing over and over again? So, for instance, if you pull the same card for 5 people, how does that work?
Well, like I said, it's not just like you just read the card. It's not usually a one card reading. It's usually in a spread. So there are other cards that go along with that go together. So you might pull like I just pulled the 3 of Wands. And that means one thing, but then I pulled the Sun, so now I'm going to put them together. And what does that mean with them together? Like infrequently would you just pull one card. You'd usually pull at least 3 cards. So I just pulled the Ace of Swords, the Sun, and the 3 of Wands. So individually, those all mean, one thing each, but together as a reading, it means something different. And so I might do 5 readings and pull the 3 of Wands in every reading, but it's going to mean something different because it's of the surrounding cards. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of does. But with so when you're talking about a tarot deck that you were reading, all right, how do you get the messages off of the pictures?
Symbolism, basically. For me, it's, there's a symbolism, there's numerology. So, for instance, I've got the 3 of Wands in front of me. The 3 is going to mean, creation and, creativity and something new. It's like the 3 of Wands the wands also mean, creativity, and they have, multiple meanings, but that's a very, potent card for, something really about to happen. And I take there, you can look into all kinds of things, including right down to the color. So the Three of Wands has a yellow background. And yellow means certain things. So there's even color involved in the reading. And, like the sun, you look at this card and you can tell it's a very happy card. There's these things going on. There's a naked child riding a horse and the sun's shining on him, and he's got a big red, scarf or whatever it is that's, you can tell from the colors, from the symbolism, what's in the picture, sunflowers, happy children. And, and then there's like the Five of Cups. The man is sad and scorned, and his cups have fallen over. But there are 3 cups that have fallen over and spilled, but there are still 2 cups behind him that he's not paying attention to because he's too busy focusing on these 3 lost cups. And so, you kind of look into the picture and think, like, what does this mean? Also in that picture, there's a bridge over a river in the background that leads to a town. So you can kind of derive from that, what this man should do is take the 2 cups that he has left and go over the bridge to the town. And, I made, in my cards, I made the town building that's there, the strip club, and the cups are like, he's like, oh man, I'm such a jerk, and the cups are like, it's all right, let's go to the strip club, because that's sort of implied.
You got an X-rated deck of cards there. You're talking boobs all night. Now you're getting into strip clubs on your tarot deck. What's next? The 9 of brass poles? What's going on here?
Yeah, well, we do call them, I don't know if this is a word I'm allowed to say on the radio, but DICK sticks is what I call the wands.
You can spell. Spelling is good.
Yeah.
I see where you're going with that. And I'm sorry, any man that uses a brass pole, I fear for them. I have fear for them.
So I call the cup suits, we call them the crybabies, and the pentacles are the devil cats, because I don't know, like, everybody's seen that meme that's around that says it's got a cat licking its butt and it's got 1 foot up in the air, and they've made it into the shape of a pentagram. And my daughter used to always say, Mom, what's that devil cat on the card? So I call the pentacles devil cats. And the swords are called mind bullets, because I don't know if you know any Tenacious D, but there's a song where they say where they talk about telekinesis and mind bullets, and the swords are very interpretive of thought. And so I have sort of renamed the suits to be more relatable to people. But it is definitely an X-rated deck. It's like I was going to ask my local metaphysical shop to carry it, and I was like, this is way too smutty.
You got to be careful with that. Man. Well, we're going through the tarot deck of smut tonight on Spaced Out Radio with Natalie Meraki. Oh, that's funny. That is funny. We're going to hop out for a break here at the bottom of the hour. Stay tuned. More about tarot, readings, intuition. Wherever this thing goes, we're going to get to your questions as well. So make sure, if you're in one of the chat rooms or on Twitter, make sure you use capital letters so I do not miss them. We'll stay tuned for more Spaced Out Radio coming up.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today. We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio, and while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night. This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
Finish off your weekend and kick off your new week with me, Everett Thiemer, right here on Spaced Out Sundays. I'm going to bring you great guests, a little bit of snark, and plenty of information to think about. But don't worry, there's going to be plenty of woo as well. We are going to hit everything in the paranormal and supernatural, including the odd psychic Sundays. So tune us in on Sunday, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Looking for something new to push your limits? Look Beyond the Spectrum, a new docuseries featuring some of the best researchers in the world when it comes to everything from UFOs, government cover-ups, and Bigfoot in the forest. Truth seekers like Steve Bassett, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, Richard Dolan, as well as others all chip in to bring their knowledge to you. Beyond the Spectrum can be found on Amazon as well as Tubi TV. Tell us what you think on our Amazon page.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the CHIVE and CHIVE Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, CHIVE Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
Every night on Spaced Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio. You can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
We pass the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Reminder to all of you that if you miss portions of this show or others, you can always head on over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where you can read up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire, rock out to Bumblefoot, fill out a Sightlines report if you've had a weird, strange experience you cannot explain, or do a little shopping at the SOR Vault, as well as joining the SOR Space Travelers Club. Natalie Meraki is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio, accomplished author, tarot card reader. That's what we're into tonight. Let's get our Zen and Chi on. Natalie, welcome back.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
Is it easier to read men or women?
Oh, you know what? Most of my clients are women. That's absolutely true. I don't know how many men I've read for. It's probably a handful. So I don't know. I haven't really examined that. That's a very interesting question. I'll have to pay attention to that now. But yeah, it's basically all women that come to me. But also that's my audience. You know, if I look at my Instagram insights and my Facebook insights and look at my audience, it's all women it's like I have like 8 to 11% men. And they're between like 25 and 45. So that's pretty much who I get.
Well,
I wonder why that is. Yeah, why do guys not want to do readings? I think they're probably less apt to believe in readings, possibly, or maybe less likely to reach out for help. Maybe, I don't know. I don't want to get sexist here.
Could very well be. I think there's a lot of truth to that. It's not manly. You know what I'm saying? It's not manly at all.
And there aren't very many male tarot card readers either. And the ones that are some of the best readers that, that I've had. I've had some, a couple of men read for me, just like we'd trade readings, and they're very good. They're very good. And they say that women are more intuitive, but the guys really do tune in too, and they're more... they really get into the details of the cards, and like the guys that I know will use a variety. Like they won't just read you your tarot; they'll also throw in some runes, and girls are more likely to use throw in some oracle cards or something like that. That is something that I just realized. Guys are more into combining runes with tarot, and girls are more into combining oracle cards. That's funny.
Well, what is the difference between oracle cards and tarot cards?
Oracle cards are usually just about, I think, 44 cards, around the 40s, and they just describe certain situations more. They're softer. It's not like, I've never done an oracle card reading of just oracle cards. When I incorporate oracle cards, I'll do my reading and then pull one oracle card. Excuse me. And then, and it sort of sets the tone for the reading. So they're usually revolved around like, a theme like animals or, that's the deck that I use is, the spirit. I think it's called Spirit Animal Oracle cards. But they'll have a theme that they'll sort of bring in these, day-to-day philosophies, and they'll put it in a card. And it's different than tarot, because tarot is much more intricate, if that makes sense. Oracle is more generalized, I think, information.
Let me see what you're saying. Do you read people differently if you use oracles compared to tarot?
So I only know like a handful of people that that do just oracle card readings where they'll pull, 3 or 4 oracle cards. And no, I say it's definitely similar to tarot. You memorize what that card means, or you just go by the feeling of the picture. If it's a good oracle card, if it's a good oracle deck, then the pictures you'll be able to read into them just like a tarot card. So, usually they'll say something on them like, ancestry or something. And it's like, what does that mean? And it's like when I was at that event the other day, that oracle card came in, I pulled it first, and then we did the reading, and it ended up being a health reading. And it ended up being that the health issue she had was genetic. So then all of a sudden the oracle card makes complete sense.
Where do animals and totems come into play?
It's just,
is it symbolism?
What they represent. Yeah, symbolism, what they represent, what certain animals represent. So, a lot of people will learn what these animals represent. Like, the other day I saw a fox run in front of me, and I'm like Googling, what does it mean when a fox runs in front of you? What does a fox represent?
What does a fox say? Sure.
Yeah. And yeah, that's exactly what I Googled, and I got, what? No, so it's just a whole nother method of study. It's so interesting, all of the correspondences that come involved in tarot and oracle cards. And I think oracle cards are fluffier than tarot is. They're not as straightforward and intricate.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess that makes sense. I guess that makes complete sense. With that, then, the symbolism of animals has a deep, deep-rooted ground, especially with indigenous people across North America. Have you delved into the whole animal totem very much?
No, not really. I feel like, personally, I really identify with cats. I know that's kind of basic, because a lot of people, cats are just kind of, like, oh, cats are my spirit animal, but, no, I haven't really got into, what does a turtle mean? And what does it mean when you see a unicorn? So no, to answer your question, I haven't really studied that much, actually.
I think that's something that you should be able to look into a little bit more.
Definitely. Well, yeah, I think, and the thing about there's so much to look into. So it's really an art form and a lifetime learning process. So I'm sure over the next, few years, I'll be, looking into animal, and maybe now sooner that you've mentioned it, into animal meanings. I think that it's any additional information that you can grab onto. It all compiles subconsciously and helps with your readings.
Incredible. I'm looking at your Kickstarter here for the mood deck. And I gotta say, your sense of humor is troublesome. You are some sort of trouble on here. You are some sort of trouble.
Yeah, wait till you see the video. You have to watch the video when we're not on air. It's pretty crazy. I went all in on the crazy.
Well, I'm looking here, okay, and so far you had a goal of I'm going to assume $5,000.
It was 4,000. Mm-hmm.
Or 4,000, and you've tripled that.
Almost, yeah. I'm at 250%, and I met my $4,000 goal within 24 hours.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Pledge $5 US or more, and you get a fart in your general direction.
Yes. So that's a Monty Python joke. From Monty Python.
Sure? Are you sure?
Yeah, and in fact, you can get a fart in your general direction in almost every tier. Now, in the BFF tier, where you have buy a deck for you and your best friend, I demand that you fart on each other, because I figure that's kind of hot for some people. I'm not sure, but
well, that's terrible.
And if you buy the 6 or 10 decks, then you're basically a distributor at that point, and you have to give out your own farts.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Apparently, I love this. Why do you need this ridiculousness? So basically, I love this line. I personally need this deck to just counteract all the new age BS boring my tarot shelfies. I need this deck because it's plastic and I can spill my bong water on it. I need this deck because cats came into my room at night in the shape of a person in a trench coat. I'm terrified. I had to make the deck.
Those are all very true. Those are true statements.
I need this deck so I can giggle every time I read a "Is he into me?" reading from here on out. You get a lot of those?
Yeah, well, if you're in the tarot online community, like in the Facebook groups, there are a lot of people that will say, "Here's my spread. What do you guys think about it?" And here's my question, and they'll say, "Is this guy into me?" And it happens all the time, and it's like so boring. Like, come on, ask something better, or like don't care or something. I don't know. Like, we're so sick of hearing this question. And yeah, that it does happen. And so I figured it'd be like, it'd make it a lot better if they had these funny cards to present, with as a picture with their question.
Well, I do have to ask this, because I think this is just brilliant. Alcatraz Juan on Twitter, made a comment here. He goes, "If I wanted Natalie to fart, I'd remote view her and pull her finger." That is awesome.
I don't think that's how remote viewing works, but I'm definitely I would like for him to try. That'd be great. I mean, you should maybe put us in contact and see how this is going to go.
I don't know. I heard he has 6 toes on his left foot, so you want to be careful of that.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
I love me some freaks, so.
Wow. You realize this is going off the rails quick here. Going off the rails quick.
Yeah, so the Kickstarter has 10 days left to go. And so if anybody wants to check it out, you just go to Tarot Mood on Kickstarter. Mood, MOOD. And Mood is the name of the deck because it's It means it's in the Urban Dictionary what the kids are saying these days as relatable. And as I was making the deck and sharing the pictures around the internet, everybody kept saying, like, this is so relatable. And that's how it becomes an edutainment deck, is that people, they can suddenly memorize, they get all stoned and laugh at this deck, and then all of a sudden they can remember these cards based on what they envisioned while on the devil's lettuce,
Oh, you never trust that hippie lettuce. Gets you in trouble every time.
Yeah.
I know.
I had to quit. It's legal where I live.
It's legal.
You can buy it at the store.
Oh,
that's fantastic. Oh, I didn't know that. People think it's so funny when I would say that I'm going to the weed store. They're like, what? Like, yeah, I don't have to hit up your dealer anymore.
Yeah, you cut him right out. Cut that middleman right out. A lot of marijuana dealers are now applying for jobs at McDonald's and Wendy's and A&W because there's no money in pot anymore.
Oh, there is, though. People are making so much money. They're growing it and selling it to the stores. So you just have to be smarter about it.
I hear you. All right, back to the deck, shall we?
Yeah.
Back to the deck in regards to, this pervert deck of cards that you have.
Yeah.
Why, everybody always tries to be serious about their deck. They want that real serious message to come through. Yet you went with more of a chill, relax type style. Mm-hmm. Why? Was it about your personality, or was it more about the idea of allowing people to just chill and relax rather than be so uptight with their spirituality?
Right. And that is a little bit of pushback that I do get from some of the community. I really have to know my audience when I share my cards, and I don't get offended when people are offended, because I understand that spirituality is a very serious thing for people. But I feel like one of the highest forms of spirituality is humor. And if you ever did a good mushroom trip, you know that everything is funny. It doesn't need to be taken so seriously to be real. And, not saying that I've ever done mushrooms, but, I just figured that it's easier if you've laughed about something, to remember what it means.
So basically it's about not taking anything too seriously.
Well, yeah, and it is serious, but it's seriously funny. It's about helping people remember the cards and what they mean, and if you can do that very black and white, straight laced, like everybody else does, or you can try a different angle and try to use humor to learn. It's like people use songs to learn and put something into a song. It's just a different way to learn the method.
So it's your freedom of expression.
I definitely use a lot of freedom of expression in my deck. Yeah. Basically, what happened was I was stoned. I was really stoned. And I was listening to this guy on YouTube go through each card and give the descriptions. And I just started thinking, like, oh, that's what this means. And I was going to say what the first card was, but I can't even say it online on the radio. But, I started thinking about 3 or 4 cards. I thought, oh, this is what this means. And then people were like, oh my God, that is so relatable and true. And that is so helpful in me understanding this card now. You should do the rest. And so at first I just did the ones that really spoke to me and that I really got a giggle out of. And then I went through and did the whole deck, and just sort of, it's a meme deck because I post them around, they make them digitally and post them around online in the Facebook groups. And I do get a lot of people that are like, this is absolutely disgusting and you are going to hell. But I also get enough, obviously there's enough of an audience, the Kickstarter is doing well, of people that are like, wow, like this is so helpful. And so, that's why I call it an edutainment deck, because it's funny and it's helpful in learning.
We have about 4 minutes before we gotta go to break at the top of the hour. Natalie Meraki is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio, talking tarot. So with your deck, what are you trying to read? Are you trying to read somebody's emotions? Are you trying to read their hidden inner self, because everybody puts that facade in front of them these days?
It depends. It depends on what people are looking for. I don't use my deck for professional readings. I use it for learning and for humor, for joking. I don't think that I would use it. I didn't use it for the event that I did recently, because it's not, it's sort of distracting. Like, if people were to see what I've written on the cards, they'd be like, what the hell is this? So, I don't know, if you mean, trying to get through somebody's facade. I don't know. It can be that people, they know subconsciously what's going on, but they can't consciously grasp it. And so the tarot cards will help bring that out, what's going on subconsciously, bring that to the forefront, and open up people's minds about what's really going on in a situation or within themselves.
There's a lot of people out there from a religious or spiritual standpoint who believe tarot decks are evil. They conjure up thoughts of darkness, destruction, ties to the devil. Beelzebub himself has a devil put aside for me, for me, for me. Anyways.
Yeah, we call it the devil's Uno.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. But that's what I want to talk about is how dangerous are these?
Not dangerous. I grew up in an extremely Christian family, so I know exactly what you're talking about. And I mean, I don't know that I'd mess around with a Ouija board, but tarot, if anything, they're just more helpful in understanding yourself and the world around you. You're not going to get spirits, that are hassling you because you used a tarot deck. If that does happen, I'd say that it's because of something else, not because of your tarot deck, because you're tapping into energy. So I could see how, when you get tapped into your energy, you might experience some things that scare you because you're not used to them. But that doesn't mean that they're bad. And it has happened to me where the more and more I got into my spirituality, certain things happened that scared me. But if you can look at it as just something different, and it's really more of a blessing than something bad. So I think that if there is God and Satan and all of that, I think it's all one, and tarot is a tool of divination to tap into that oneness. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, that makes sense. Even though you still have to fight the fact that for many people, they look at whether it's tarot, Ouija, dowsing, pendulums, that there is some sort of dark connection to them.
They're just afraid of the energy that they're experiencing because it's different. I wouldn't say it's dark at all. I think people have been told that through their religion mainly, because it's occult, material that religions don't want you to have. So they're going to tell you that it's bad and that it's dark, so that to keep you from having the empowerment of these tools.
Awesome. On that note, we're going to head off to hour number 3 of Spaced Out Radio right after this. Natalie Meraki is our guest tonight. We'll continue the line of tarot talk coming up in Hour 3 of Spaced Out Radio.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night. This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
Every night on Spaced Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio. You can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
At spacedoutradio.com, we have a little bit of everything for you to stay up late. So while you're there, check out our SOR Newswire, where our team brings you stories of the weird and strange to the WTF from around the globe. News on Bigfoot, UFOs, paranormal, Darwinian-type crime tales. It's the stories that the mainstream media usually won't touch. Well, we got them all on the SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot THAL, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
A little bit of science, a little bit of skepticism. Add a dash of snark and you have the makings of Spaced Out Sundays with me, Everett Themer. Together we will look into the reality of the paranormal with an open eye and rational thought. Oh, did I mention there'll be plenty of woo as well? Your time spent with Spaced Out Sundays will make the night even better. The chat rooms are open, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the CHIVE and CHIVE Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, CHIVE Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Here we go with the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Always a pleasure to be broadcasting live to you. Let's give a shout out to everyone listening in digitally on Kingdom of Nye Radio and Revolution Radio. Great to have you with us. On the terrestrial side, we are on WQEE 99.1 FM in Noonan, Georgia, KDUN AM 1030 in Reedsport, Oregon, UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans, KZFX 93.7 FM in Ridgecrest, California, down in Dangerfield, Texas, KDNF AM 1560. Don't forget you can check out all of our archives for free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Stumpatocracy. Stumpatocracy is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets a password each and every night right here on the mighty SOR. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Join up on the SOR Space Travelers Club because we're having a lot of fun in there again tonight. You can also buy some swag at the Vault. And don't forget, add to your book collection by heading on over to We Read the Night and pick up a great book for yourself. Natalie Meraki is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. She's an author, tarot card creator, intuitive. We're kind of running the gamut on tarot readings, everything that just goes along with the whole intuition. Natalie, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. What is stumpocracy?
I don't know.
Who is the clam that makes up these passwords?
He's the clam. I don't know how else to explain him.
Is this a form of divination? You just like read your clam and the clam tells you a random word that you don't know what it means and you just say, that's it. That's the password.
Pretty much. Now the question is, what's the password for? The answer is exactly.
All right. I was wondering about that too. It's really nice that you give out the archives for free on YouTube. A lot of people charge for the archives, so that's pretty cool of you.
Well, you know what? That's one of the things when we set up the Space Travelers Club, every other show out there charges money for the archives. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to do that. Mm-hmm. Because I remember missing a show that I wanted to hear. It didn't matter what show it was. But if there was one that I wanted to hear, there was no way I could hear it. Mm-hmm. Because I wasn't going to pay $5, $8, $10 or more,
right,
for one show. And I just couldn't fathom that. So when we decided to put the Space Travelers Club together, it was very, very important to me to make sure that our archives stayed free for the sake of the audience. Because you know what? Yeah, there's people who can afford it, but there's a lot of people who can't. Mm-hmm. And why should they not get the benefit of being a fan?
Yeah, well, that's really cool of you. I appreciate that. And my password to get into my tarot mood Facebook group is #buttholes and blasphemy. So I also have a password, but mine's actually to something. I don't know. Yours is just to exactly.
Exactly. What's the password for? Exactly.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love it.
To be honest, we haven't figured out what the password is for yet. It just kind of happened. No, actually, it was started by number 1, Bill Cardwell.
Okay.
And then the Pen Man took it over for a short time before the Clam really turned up the jets on it.
So the Clam knows what stumpocracy means.
It's stumptocracy.
Stumptocracy. Oh, excuse my diction.
Stumptocracy.
So, is this a clam or a person named Clam?
Oh, you never know.
Okay. So it's just all random. We have no idea.
Exactly.
I love it. That's great. That is the kind of silliness I can get down with.
We don't know his name. We don't know what he looks like. And we don't even really know if he likes shellfish. But he's in the middle of the desert with a clam.
Okay. Yeah. Reading the clam as a divination.
Exactly.
I can just see him like coming out at daylight and like presenting the clam to the rising sun, and the clam coming forth with these ridiculous passwords.
He says, "Strumptocracy, government by strumpets, I am the clam." This is what we deal with.
I'm jealous. I want to be the clam.
This is what you got to follow him on Twitter, Desert Clam 2012.
Okay, Desert Clam 2012.
At Desert Clam 2012. If you want to figure out what the password is, at Desert Clam 2012.
And you said that's on Twitter?
Yes.
I cannot figure out Twitter. I'm like too old or dumb or something. Like I got the Instagram and the Facebook down, but I tried Twitter and I'm like, I have no idea what this is, and I got off immediately.
He posted on your Facebook the meaning of the clam. Or the
he did?
I don't even know that. I'm going to look now.
That's great.
I'm going to look now. Let's see. What does it mean? Oh, that's just what I read. I read.
Oh, okay. The meaning of stumptocracy.
Stumptocracy. Apparently.
That's great. It's like word of the day kind of stuff.
For sure. Absolutely. Speaking of intuition, as we go down that road,
No, I don't know what the next word of the day is going to be. Sorry, did I?
You ruined it.
I ruined it. I'm a fake.
How do you? Well, that's a dangerous word to say if you've been talking about your tarot card readings and everything tonight.
Well, good thing I'm joking.
I hope so.
Of course. So. Hey, I got 40 reviews. So. 40 plus. And I've only been reading professionally for money for a couple of years, so that's pretty good amount of reviews that all say that I am the real deal. So I'll take that. I don't know. I'd hire me.
When it comes to your intuition and the way you read people, what kind of message are you trying to read? Because let's face it, if you're getting you have a fine line that you have to walk. It's very, very difficult, and I know there's a lot of so-called medical psychics out there who try to do the job of doctors, saying, "Oh no, don't take that cancer medication. You know, go eat some grass or something along those lines." There's always those type of people out there.
Celery juice, yeah. I just saw that like. I randomly watched an episode of the Kardashians, and there was a medical guy that came on and like told her to take celery juice to get rid of her psoriasis, and it did not work. But you know, a lot of tarot readers will completely stay away from health questions for legal reasons. I like to say that I have an LLC, so I can just say whatever I want, and they can't touch me. But you know, I don't know if that's how it really works.
Well, I mean, the big idea that I'm trying to get at with this is there is dangers to what you do. You know, I mean, you really have to be careful, especially, you know, with intuitive diagnosis or saying that someone's spouse is cheating when you really don't know. It's just they could very well be. They may not be. But I mean, you're really playing with fire at times with people's emotions.
Yeah. Well, like I was saying, like, you know, if the Tower card comes up and it seems to me like, you know, coinciding with the other cards in the reading, like that this is a cheater card and that somebody's cheating, I might, it is very nerve wracking, but I might bring that up anyway, because people might be like, "Oh my God, you're right. How did you know that?" Or they might be like, "No, I'm going to go talk to my husband right now." And you're like, "Oh crap," you know? So you're right. And when it comes to the health readings, that's why a lot of people do not do health readings in the tarot community. And it's like so funny when people will say in the tarot groups, "Am I pregnant?" And it's like, go take a pregnancy test, you know. So what are you asking these cards for? So it is a fine line. You're right. Like where do you stop when in your opinion on what these cards are saying? I haven't had any really awkward situations like that. Recently, I had a lady that was very upset about her situation with her husband, and it was good that I did bring that up, what I saw in the cards, because that's what actually released her to say, yes, you're right. It was relieving for her to say, you know, she didn't want to tell me straight up, but once I brought it up, she was like, yeah, that's exactly what's going on, and we had a very good reading after that. So it's hard to know when to say, but you got to go with your intuition. You know, you got to, sometimes you know, like you get a feeling like I shouldn't say this, and you have to listen. You have to listen to the little things that you are told by, I want to say the universe, but ultimately yourself. You know subconsciously, and you have to tap into that.
Well, I figured that. I absolutely figured that. And that's what made me wonder about the, you know, the dangers of what you can do, because you don't want to lead someone astray. You don't want to lead someone down a path that isn't true, or bring that type of negative energy upon yourself.
Well, you have to have some trust also that your querent is not going to be ridiculous. So, if I say, for the example we've been using, maybe your husband is cheating on you and they didn't know anything about that. And then they go and hopefully say, hey, my tarot card said this. And if he says that's absolutely not true, hopefully you guys can laugh about it, or maybe he'll be like, holy crap, I just got called out by the cards. I don't know. People, you have to trust people to do with the information what they're going to do with it. You're hired to give the information, and it's their job then to do what they need to do.
Do you believe then that there are certain subjects you should stay away from outside of the health?
No, I don't. I don't give myself too many boundaries. I really go with the flow. There are people that, they don't do legal questions. But then I've had people that ask me about their upcoming court cases and how they're going to go and what they should do. And to me, that's a perfectly reasonable question for tarot. And I will answer that question. But you have to disclaimer it. Like, you don't go to court and say, my tarot reader said, but it's people need to know these things, and tarot is a powerful and effective tool. So who am I to keep that from them? So no, I don't put those boundaries on myself.
You live dangerously.
I do.
Dangerously.
I do. Yep.
Give me an example of a reading that you gave where something positive or miraculous came through for the person you were reading. Whether it was a message from above or something good was going to happen to them within the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, month, 2 months.
A good sign is always when the sun card comes up in a reading. I can usually tell people, say they get like the sun and the world and, the like 4 of Wands or something. I can definitely say something good is going to happen for you and soon, and, I can't think of a specific example off the top of my head right now where that's happened, but it's weird too because a lot of people won't read for kids, and I have no problem reading for kids. I actually love reading for kids because they're so open-minded, and recently I read for a kid that was having some trouble with anxiety, and that came out with the 9 of Swords right in their reading, and I just brought it up, and they were so relieved that somebody recognized that, and but also in the reading was the sun, and I just, it was a good opportunity for me to tell them that it's going to be okay, and there are lots of times when a card will come up, like the sun's always a good one. If you're dealing with family and you get the 10 of Cups, that's like a great card. If somebody's like wondering if they're going to get married and you pull, or, if somebody says, are you pregnant, and that you pull the Empress card, like, yeah, you're definitely pregnant. There are definitely certain cards that, that you can give people good information that you know that they're going to be happy to hear. And those are always the fun times because sometimes the readings are hard and they're full of information that's difficult. And sometimes it's like, oh, this is relieving. I get to give this person good news. So I can't think of a specific example off my head, but it does happen all the time.
Are the readings that you give usually positive, or does it deal in both the positive and negative?
Absolutely both. And I don't, I don't sugarcoat things. I don't say like, oh, you're screwed. But what I'll say is, here's what the cards say. Now, what are you going to do to change this if you want to? Now you have the knowledge of where things are going, but you have the free will and the choice to change things. So even if it is a negative reading, it's positive in the way that now they're armed with knowledge.
Knowledge how?
Because I've just told them what's, if I pull like the 3 of Swords, now like that's a straight up betrayal card. So I can say like, this sucks that I just pulled the 3 of Swords for you. And, depending on what position it's in, they've either been betrayed or are going to be betrayed. Say it's in the future position. I can tell them like this, I know this really sucks, but you can watch your back now, and you can know that you need to watch your back. So in that regard, it's positive because they're armed with that knowledge. So not really with tarot. I'd say that under the canopy of witchcraft, definitely. And to me, when it comes down to spells and things like that, it's all energy. So what I would say to somebody if they have a curse is just to believe that they don't have a curse, and to tell themselves that, and to really believe it, and to put up their protection shields, and then if you don't believe that you can, if you believe that you cannot be cursed, then you cannot be cursed. And I know, I have friends that deal with spells, and I think it's very interesting, and I've seen them work. I was just talking to my friend the other day that has done a couple spells for me that worked instantaneously. And it's so interesting. I don't do a lot of that. I just mainly work on my manifesting through energy, for myself personally, but I don't mess with other people's energy. I have no interest in it other than when I'm reading for them. But I don't pick up on curses and things. Like, I would never say, I think you're cursed. That's never come from my mouth, because it's just not the kind of witchcraft I do. And I wouldn't even have called it witchcraft until recently. But I guess it is, which that's not bad. It's got a bad sound to it, but it's witchcraft is great. Mm. Yeah. 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 Oh, well, it's been a pleasure. Oh, okay. Well, I have a couple of children's books, believe it or not, and they're on Amazon. So I have The Shiny Bee, and then I have Chehalem Valley Children's Play, and these are both and Chehalem is Chelaham. It's kind of hard. I should have picked a different name for that, but it just went so well. But they're part of the Conscious Kids series, and it's just sort of about being conscious of, yourself, the people around you. The Shiny Bee is a book about not fitting in. So the bee is shiny. It turns out there's a surprise ending that you can probably guess. The bee is not a bee, and that's why it didn't fit in. And it just took it some, but in the sense that this star takes it through the galaxy and shows it all the ways that it is part of everything and does fit in wherever, as whatever it is. And so that's, they're to empower children and adults that read the books to be accepting of themselves and other people, and people that are different, and an understanding of people. And yeah, you can get them on Amazon. My website broke. It's a long story, but so you can't get them on my website right now. But if you look up The Shiny Bee, or look up Natalie Meraki, Meraki on Amazon, and you can find my books. And I also published a tarot book that's not mine. I published it for a friend, and it's called Cardomaniacal Madness, Mischief, and Mayhem from the Maggots of the Marsh. It's 333 example readings, and it's very good for learning tarot. It's very brain training, and it is what I said, example readings. Yeah, it's very cool, and that's on Amazon as well.
Natalie Meraki, thank you so much for coming on Spaced Out Radio tonight. Coming up next, we have the SOR Newswire, the Thought of the Dave. Stay tuned.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Every night on Spaced Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio, you can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio. At SpacedOutRadio.com, we have a little bit of everything for you to stay up late. So while you're there, check out our SOR Newswire, where our team brings you stories of the weird and strange to the WTF from around the globe. News on Bigfoot, UFOs, paranormal, Darwinian-type crime tales. It's the stories that the mainstream media usually won't touch. Well, we got them all on the SOR Newswire, only at SpacedOutRadio.com.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night. This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
Hey, Spaced Out Radio fans! It's John Resig, founder of the CHIVE and CHIVE Charities. Our goal is to make the life of veterans, first responders, and those with rare medical conditions 10% happier. We do this by donating one grant item, ranging from dance to therapy programs to prosthetic limbs, to those who need it most. To contribute to Spaced Out Radio's official charity, head over to CHIVEcharities.org and become a donor today.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between, with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
A little bit of science, a little bit of skepticism. Add a dash of snark and you have the makings of Spaced Out Sundays with me, Everett Themer. Together we will look into the reality of the paranormal with an open eye and rational thought. Oh, did I mention there'll be plenty of woo as well? Your time spent with Spaced Out Sundays will make the night even better. The chat rooms are open, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
We've rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Great to have you with us. My God, my ear is itchy right now. Oh, one of those ones that if you don't scratch it, it just keeps nagging and nagging. Oh, it's terrible. Hey, reminder to all of you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, all you got to do is go to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor. Hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot. Shop at the SOR Vault. Get some swag. Join the SOR Space Travelers Club for $5 a month. Head over, Head over to We Read the Night. Grab yourself a great new book. You can buy it right there. And, of course, Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. The captain always has us prepared at spacedoutradio.com for the latest and greatest in the news of the night. The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR Newswire, the back end of every show where we get to the weird, the strange, sometimes the really cool as well. NASA has opened a previously sealed rock sample brought back from the moon in 1972, making it the first time in a long time that it'll be analyzed. Space Agency said it opened rock sample 73002 or 73002 in conjunction with its Apollo Next Generation Sample Analysis initiative designed to use new technologies that were not around at the time the samples were collected. In a statement, Sarah Noble says, ANGSA program scientist that she is, we are able to make measurements today that were just not possible during the years of the Apollo program. The analysis of these samples will maximize the science return from Apollo, as well as enable a new generation of scientists and curators to refine their techniques excuse me, and help prepare future explorers for lunar missions anticipated in the 2020s and beyond. Sample 73,002 was one of 2 rock samples brought back from the Apollo 17 mission by astronauts Gene Cernan and Harrison Jack Schmitt. It will be split up into parts for study, which NASA said may allow scientists to gain insight into the origin of the lunar polar ice deposits, as well as other potential resources for future exploration. A rare collection of ice eggs has been spotted in Finland, a phenomenon experts say only occurs in highly particular conditions. Risto Mattia, who photographed the egg, says he and his wife were walking along the Marjanimi beach when they came across these icy balls covered around 30 meters or 98 feet of expansive shoreline. The biggest of the eggs was about the size of a football. It was an amazing view, says Matila. I've never seen anything like this before. Juni Vanayo, an ice specialist at the Finnish Meteorological Institute, said the occurrence was not common, but could happen about once a year in the right weather conditions. You need the right air temperature, below zero, but only a bit, the right water temperature, near freezing, a shallow and gently sloping sandy beach, and calm waves, maybe a light swell. You also need something that acts as a core. The core begins to collect ice around it, and it swells as it moves along the beach, forward and back. A small ball surface gets wet, freezes, and becomes bigger and bigger. Autumn is the perfect time to see this phenomena, according to Dr. James Carter, Emeritus Professor of Geology at Illinois State University, as this is when the ice starts to form on the surface of the water, creating a form of slush when moved by waves. Actually kind of cool. A Scottish tourist is suspected to have died in a shark attack after his dismembered hand and wedding ring were found inside the animal. The 44-year-old man was last seen snorkeling off the French island of Reunion near Madagascar over the weekend. It is believed he was on a week-long holiday with his wife in Saint-Gilles. His hand, identified by his wedding ring, was found inside a tiger shark which was caught for research purposes. Local residents say the man had left his wife for just a few minutes to go for a swim. Apparently, according to reports, it was an area enclosed by a reef. There was a very slight passage where it goes deeper into the ocean, but actually it's really well protected by the reef. His wife was really scared by what happened. No kidding. Her husband just got eaten by a shark. Many helicopters, many planes, swimmers, boats went to try and find the guy in the ocean, but couldn't find him for a few days. Apparently, they found a shark a few days ago with his hands, so apparently they're just really not sure how that happened. The shark killed him. All right? Now, I'm not saying we got to butcher sharks. All I'm saying is we got to get people out of the water. This Jaws stuff is real. That's why I don't do it. Yeah. Apparently, the many beaches on the west coast of the island were well signposted, warning people against swimming because of previous shark attacks. There were also warnings at the airport. There are a lot of shark attacks on Reunion Island, according to reports, but they're quite rare, but they're very aware that it could happen. Yeah. The shark was among several caught on Monday and Tuesday in the Indian Ocean by the Center of Sécurité Requin. It was found in just over 4 miles from the lagoon where the man was last seen. The shark was examined on Wednesday morning. It is not known yet whether the man drowned and was subsequently eaten by the shark or whether he was attacked by it. A spokesperson for the Foreign and Commonwealth Office says we are providing support to the family of a British man who died while snorkeling in La Réunion and are in contact with local authorities. There have been 2 fatal shark attacks this year at Reunion, which is in the Indian Ocean. Local authorities have implemented a ban on swimming and water sports across almost all of the island beaches following attacks in 2013. French President Emmanuel Macron said last month that he would like to see water sports reintroduced by 2022, but added that he wanted to be sure that it would be safe to do so. As long as there's sharks, people are going to get eaten. Just saying. Pretty easy. Now, I know you got a better chance of being hit by lightning, winning the, better chance of winning the lottery. But either way, Jaws is out there. So, you know how we've been following this, Jeffrey Epstein was not suicided story, and then Amy Rombach came out with that tape? Well, she didn't come out with it. It was released that she had the story for 3 years. Played the audio the other night. Well, CBS has reportedly fired an employee after ABC News informed the rival network that the person who leaked hot mic footage of Amy Rombach venting about her Spike Jeffrey Epstein story was now working on its staff. Yeah, sources say that apparently ABC News honchos believe they knew the identity of the person, a former employee with access to viral footage, and two sources with the knowledge of the situation were very, very excited that they had contacted CBS, pardon me. Earlier this week, the controversial Project Veritas published the damning video in which ABC News anchor Rombach complained that the Disney-owned network killed a story that would have exposed the now-deceased sex offender Jeffrey Epstein 3 years ago. Two sources with knowledge of the situation tell me that ABC News executives know who the former employee is, but don't know if that person leaked the footage to Project Veritas, the right-wing activist group, or if they share it with others who leaked the footage. What is known, according to reports, is that ABC News executives do know that the former employee is now working for CBS. Reporter who is looking into this, let me just get his name here. It's got to kind of be accurate on this. Why all of a sudden can I not find his name? Weird. Oh, yeah. Reporter Yashar Ali went on to state and write that the ABC executives informed CBS that the potential leaker was now working with the Tiffany network. The report sparked widespread outrage that ABC was going after the leaker and attempting to get him fired from CBS while downplaying the fact that the network killed the Epstein story in the first place. Less than 24 hours after Ali's initial story, he had followed up with a CBS report that the employee had been terminated. The New York Post has confirmed this as well. TV source says the woman was let go on Wednesday after ABC execs alerted CBS. CBS did not immediately respond. You know what? This is one giant media corp literally helping out their buddies. CBS is just as guilty. How can you fire an employee for something they did on their previous job? This is ugly. Very, very ugly. And I think it's going to get worse. It's going to get very, very worse. Much more worse, I should say. An Alaskan college is now allowing students to pay out standing parking fines with donations of peanut butter and jelly for fellow students facing hunger. The University of Alaska Anchorage said students can donate jars of jelly, peanut butter, and similar sandwich spreads to erase their unpaid parking fines. 2 jars can erase $10 worth of fines, while 5 jars eliminate $60. Any nut butter, almond, cashew, peanut butter, or any flavored jam, jelly, marmalade. People still eat marmalade? Does anybody younger than 85, or my father at that point, eat marmalade? Well, any type of preserves will be accepted. All donations must be commercially produced, no home canning, unopened, and not expired, the school said. The jars will be distributed through the UAA Emergency Food Cache at the Student Health and Counseling Center. The scheme is scheduled to run through Friday. I think that's awesome. There's a lot of starving students out there, so this could give them a good hand. The woman who owned the allegedly haunted farmhouse in Harrisville for 32 years has come out against the Travel Channel and the Zach Bagans show that premiered for 2 hours on Halloween night, questioning a scene in which a Burrillville police officer seen discussing alleged calls for service to the home during the time that she lived there. Norma Sutcliffe, with the former owner of she is the former owner of the Conjuring House, Yeah, she owned it since 2013. Or pardon me, from 1987 through 2019, has long said that the property at 1677 Round Top Road is not filled with malevolent ghosts and spirits as many as claim. And following a 2-hour Ghost Adventures special on the house that was released last week, Sutcliffe is speaking out and has filed a complaint with the Burrillville Police Department regarding the statements made about her life there. This is a disgrace, and I am angry about an appearance of a police officer claiming things that are absolute lies, she said. The team from Ghost Adventures visited the house in August to film the special, in which paranormal investigator Zach Baggins meets with the former resident Andrea Perrin, among others, and claims to attempt to verify reports that the house is cursed. Perrin and her family lived on the property in the 70s, and it was their experience with famed paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren that inspired the film, the first movie of the Conjuring series. Sutcliffe sold the home, which she and her husband bought in 1987 for $169,500 to Corey and Jennifer Heinzen for $439,000. The Heinzens, also paranormal investigators hailing from Maine, have said they plan to open the farmhouse to the public, and camera crews were on the property filming for a national program within months of their arrival in Burrillville. We're here because the new owners believe that this dark force has been reawakened, Baggins says. Baggins also speaks to the Burrillville Police Lieutenant Albert Carlo in the program dubbed The Curse of the Harrisville Farmhouse. We've tracked down the lieutenant who is jurisdiction over the area, the star of the popular ghost hunting program says. A lot of people know of the house and know of some of the things that happened here, said Carlo. After the movie, it became nonstop traffic up and down the road. Well, there's little Zachy. Yeah, getting people in trouble again. All right, final story. Cannot read tonight. I apologize. An Illinois man built his own life-size replica of the Batmobile, complete with a Boeing jet engine in the back. Brian Hendler says he took a GM body, cut it, and built a frame underneath to construct his replica Batman's car for the 1989 film starring Michael Keaton. He said his Batmobile, or big black car as he calls it, can pick itself up to spin 360 degrees. It's the first car in the world to do that, Hendler says. Hendler says the car is not yet street legal, but he is hoping to eventually use the vehicle as a attention grabber for charity fundraising events. A Colorado father and his son have been building their own homemade vehicle, a replica Lamborghini Aventador. Erie resident Sterling Backus and his son Xander, 11, says that their car is composed of parts retrieved from junkyards, including a Corvette V8 engine and a 3D printed body. That's kind of cool. Let's get to the thought of the day, shall we? Thought of the Day happens every night at this time, where we ask a question on our Facebook and Twitter pages, then read your responses on the air, because we love the audience participation in here. Today's Thought of the Day is as follows. Why do you believe or not believe in tarot card readings? Let's go to little Tommy Whitmore of MUFON. Tarot can be used to assist in creative brainstorming and creative thinking. Chrisomania. Hashtag Chrisomania on Twitter. Let me tell you something, Chrisomania. Say your prayers, eat your vitamins. What you gonna do? Depends on who's doing the reading, he says. Little Richie Giordano, he chimes in on this. Little Richie G. Fact, tarot cards are the interpretations of the users and seers. You can read them frontwards and backwards, left and right, or up and down. Doesn't matter. It's all interpretation. It says for entertainment purposes on every deck. Duh. Mr. Skeptic? Tarot cards? Sucker. John, it's not that I specifically believe in tarot cards. It's that I've seen evidence that some humans seem to be able to pull data they shouldn't have access to. One way to do this is to present them with important randomness via tarot cards, Ouija boards, palms, tea leaves, etc. Graham, I'm suspicious and was warned as a boy by my grandmothers to stay away from tarot and Ouija boards. They take energy from you, which can be true. UFO researcher. Depends on how often you keep picking up the same cards. That's what I've found. It's a bit freaky. Eric. I'd rather get my reading from @ChimpCovfefe. Walter. Like astrology or divination, or for that matter, mediumship, all are permission slips that we use to assist in our physical reality experience. Which ones, if any, we choose to apply is inconsequential. Pick one that fits your belief systems, or none at all. None are necessary. Very deep. Very, very deep. John, I believe. I feel like they pull from the universe. God, if you want to call it that. It's all about the intent. I especially like the deck I have, the Damon Tarot. Not really for beginners, though. It's more for people who've done this before. So far, every reading I've done has been spot on. For first-timers, I'd probably suggest the Weight deck or something similar with better instructions on how to use. For me, the one I have is perfect. When I picked it up to look at it, I got chills all over. That's when I knew it was the deck for me. Sarah, I believe in them because they're always so accurate, but not necessarily what I want to hear. It's what I need to hear. I believe it's synchronicity that makes it feel like divine guidance. Plus, I don't have to be psychic. The cards speak for themselves. I'm merely interpreting the meaning. If you're a medium or something, that's additional. Maggie, I believe in them because they're always spot on to what I'm going through. Sparkster gets the final word. I had a sad but interesting experience. A friend of my daughter's was at the house and wanted me to read the tarot for her. I was very fond of her, but all throughout the evening I kept finding excuses, and she left without a reading. My whole being was resistant to the reading of her cards. It was strange because I always do enjoy reading the cards for people. This was on a Friday night. On Sunday, her boyfriend and his dog were all killed, or she, her boyfriend, and his dog were all killed in a car crash. I've always felt that my resistance to reading her cards was because, not known to me that Friday night, her life was about to end. There was no future to read. Wow, that is heavy. Very, very heavy. Thank you for sharing that, Sparkles. Really do appreciate that. Big thanks to everybody taking part in today's Thought of the Dave. We'll do it all again on Facebook and Twitter tomorrow. Also, thank you to Captain Shirk. Excuse me, for getting our news together. Yeah. And to Natalie Meraki for coming on in talking about tarot cards tonight. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot THAL rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, at work, in your cars, in our chat rooms on LGAB, Spreaker, Revolution Radio, Facebook, Twitter, at hashtag Spaced Out Radio, and the SOR Space Travelers Club on our website. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for sharing your evening with us, because together, my friends,
we're watching.
We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Have a great night, everybody. We'll do it all again tomorrow, Friday night. The Manson House with David Ullman. We'll be back tomorrow night. We'll see you there. Good night.